Hello, everybody. The Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service now presents a reading of articles and features from the New York Times for Saturday, June 20th to 26th. Man, the month is flying by. Your reader is Joe Gibbs. Started you with a little Chicago today. To honor Walter Parazaider. Walter Parazaider, for those who don't know, was a founding member and saxophonist of the rock band Chicago. He died June 17th, 26 at 81. And he passed away from complications of Alzheimer's disease and hospice care. Walter Parazaider was a founding member and helped start Chicago and create that awesome rock/jazz type of sound. Chicago is one of the greatest bands there is, with all the different styles that they can do, and Walter Parazaider was a big reason for that. So I wanted to start the day off by honoring Walter Parazaider. Everybody, I hope you're having a great weekend so far. And let's see what we have here. What do we have? A headline from history. June 20th, 1981. Check this out. Check it. A set of George Washington's false teeth were reported missing from a storage room at the National Museum of American History in Washington the previous day, the Times reported. The missing teeth were made of gold and ivory, not wood, as rumor would have it. Washington was like a rapper. The Times wrote, in May 1982, the lower half was found in the same storage room. Imagine that. The Times asked whether an employee could have snatched the dentures for their gold. Wouldn't doubt it. We never made any effort to have the value of the gold appraised, said Lawrence Taylor, the Smithsonian Institute spokesman. It would be minuscule compared to the historic value of the teeth. The only intact set of Washington's dentures is held at his Mount Vernon historic home and museum in Virginia. That set includes a lead-based cow teeth, human teeth, and probably horse or donkey teeth. Jeez. I think I would have just went to milkshakes. You know what I mean? Here's your set of donkey teeth. You know how big donkey teeth are? You know how ridiculous you're going to look with a big set of donkey teeth in your trapper? How you going to close your mouth with donkey teeth? I'm going to say you're not. This is my opinion. All right. We'll move on from the donkey teeth. Might we suggest 4 weekend recommendations from around the newsroom? Basking in an unlikely symphony. At the Park Avenue Armory in Manhattan, the French sound artist Celeste Bourset-Mugonat has created a soothing concerto of dings, clings, and kalimba tinkles out of kitchenware and water. Floating around 3 10,000-gallon circular pools are 250 glazed ceramic bowls, coaxed into motion by circular jets and gently knocking together. Number 2, buying a really, really big basket. In Newark, Ohio, the Longaberger Basket Company, one-time headquarters, a 7-story building designed to look like its signature product, is listed for sale at $8.5 million. The latest owner, who planned to turn the 180,000 square foot structure into a hotel, is hoping for a buyer who shares his vision. Wow. How would you like an $8.5 million basket building? And there's an illustration here of this building, and let me tell you something. In case you're wondering, it's a basket. Okay, number 3, watching even more soccer. In between this weekend's World Cup matches, keep the action going on your screen with movies that showcase the sport's global reach. The Culture Desk highlighted 14 great soccer films from around the world, including Escape to Victory, starring Sylvester Stallone. Could you imagine Sylvester Stallone in a soccer movie. I didn't even know he did that. Alongside the Brazilian legend Pele Diamantino, a sci-fi dramedy about a plot to clone a Portuguese player. Kick around the rest of the picks at NewYorkTimes.com/movies. I just can't see Sylvester Stallone in a soccer movie. Yo, pass it, Pele, you know what I mean? I don't see it. Running laps for love. If swipe fatigue has you wiped, consider trading it out for real-life post-workout fatigue. Several new dating apps are focused on connecting people who value active, and with Gen Z spending more time and money on fitness, the gym might just be the place for young people to find someone who's more than a gym partner. At fitness events like High Rocks, users of one app wear pink bracelets to signal they're single. Oh, God. And another app, A-Team, hosts fitness-themed mixers. And an added bonus, exercise triggers certain feel-good chemicals like oxytocin, which helps with bonding. How about you just go out and you meet someone if that's what's meant to happen? I'm just saying. Or you could, go watch a soccer movie with Sylvester Stallone in it. You can yell, I did it. Deep ocean seabeds are one of the least studied, and this is some facts of interest. I don't mean to jump ahead here, people. I've only had about 4 sips of a Pepsi Zero, so you're at my mercy. Facts of interest. Deep ocean seabeds are one of the latest studied and understood areas of the planet, and scientists estimate that less than 0.001% of this part of the world has been seen. Well, I'm not going to see it. In an April bankruptcy filing, Spirit Airlines said its allotment of 22 daily flights at LaGuardia Airport could be worth as much as $87 million. Spirit planes, engines, and aircraft parts are expected to bring in far more money. That's the Spirit. In 18th century America, tavern bars commonly resembled cages, a construction that allowed liquor to be locked up at closing time when travelers retired to their rooms upstairs. Ukraine views the domestic development of ballistic missiles as an essential to increase pressure on Russia, and perhaps to force it toward negotiations in the countries of war. Well, there's going to be nothing left, so eventually you're going to stop, right? The world's largest oil refinery, belongs to India's Reliance Industries and sits directly across the Arabian Sea from the Strait of Hormuz. Not a shocker. Couples on reality dating show The Bachelor who end up engaged might have only spent around 75 hours together. That's all you need. Or you can just put on a pink bracelet and go to the gym. Because now that's how you do it. Put on a pink bracelet and go to the gym. That'll work. Let's see here. What does it say? Here to help. Look at people. I am here to help. All right? We're not just reading stories here. No. We are here to help. And I'm going to help you with this little article. It says, 4 ways to warm up a white room. And guess what? You're not painting. No paint required. If you're looking for ways to add visual warmth to a home full of white walls, these 4 approaches will help to infuse your space with more light, texture, and comfort. Warm up and vary your lighting. Swapping out bright white lights bulbs for those with warmer hues can make a white room feel less like a workplace space and more like a place to get cozy. The Ask Wirecutter columnist Anne-Marie Conti wrote, for the coziest ambience, look for the bulbs with a bulb temperature between 2,700 and 3,000 kelvins. That's a lot of little people in your light bulb. And I'm sure Kelvin is dying of heat. For maximum control over your lighting, opt for LED smart bulbs, which can be set to an auto adjust from cooler white tone temperatures during the day to warmer, more soothing temperatures in the evening. Well, you got to have the smart bulbs. You can't have like a dumb bulb. Do it now. Should I go warmer now? If your sole light source comes from overhead lights, consider installing dimmers. Dimmers are nice. They give you the ability to modify your lighting intensity throughout the day, letting you change the mood. Variety is key. Adding sources like sconces, Say that, everybody. Isn't that a fun word? Sconces, standing lamps, and table lamps, each with different heights and levels of brightness, will transform your lighting. Shades also soften light by filtering and diffusing it. Isn't this wonderful? Now I have something else for you. Roll out soft texture. In an all-white room, the floor is the biggest surface to add visual weight, texture, and warmth. Neutral tones can add earthiness to a space without weighing it down, while dark tone rugs can help create an intimate, ensconced feeling. The Wirecutter textile writer Jackie Reeve recommends wool rugs for spaces like bedrooms and living rooms, where you may want optimal comfort and warmth. Rugs go far, but you can also use smaller items to add layers. Selecting textural, colorful items like pillows, throws, and curtains also add color and dimension. Now we're going to anchor it with wood tones. Wood has a natural visual warmth and organic quality, and it comes to life against a white room's neutral base. A piece of furniture such as wood coffee table or dining set, or objects such as lamps or picture frames, will have a warming and softening visual effect. Don't feel limited to the same type of wood or finish. No. Since different woods can complement one another, mixing and matching wood and wood-like elements can make a room look like it evolved over time. Sprinkle in some greenery. Just sprinkle it in. Hilton Carter, a plant and interior stylist, said it only takes one plant to add life to a space. Plants' inherently natural, irregular shapes and colors provide a softening foil to the white space. That there is. All right. Or you could just not paint the room white. I'm just saying. Not trying to cause any problems. Those were some nice ideas. Let's not go crazy. I'm just saying. You know what you could do? You could paint 3 of the walls white, and then you could have an accent wall. You know what I mean? You got to say it like that. An accent wall. Accent. You could do, those sports stickers, those fathead sports stickers. Maybe you could find one of Sylvester Stallone being in a soccer team and put that on your wall. That's your accent wall right there. Little texture. I think it's pretty obvious why he went from soccer to boxing, isn't it? Ooh, girl, baby, please don't go. Want you to stay. Anybody been watching or paying attention to that World Cup? I've been checking out games almost every day. It's pretty interesting. It's nice to see in fans. Fans are in the World Cup, a lot of players will trade jerseys at the end. For the experience, they'll take the other team's jersey from one of their teammates, and you kind of switch jerseys. That's just a little tradition that happens, and now fans are starting to do it, which is kind of cool. It's better than the normal football fan. When they see another jersey, they just automatically spill beer on them and punch them in the mouth. So this is a lot nicer so far, even though you got a lot of countries that you're mixing in a lot of turbulent things. But so far, there has been, there's been a lot of security measures, obviously, but the fans have been pretty cool for the most part from what it shows. So here's one that's even talking about it. It says, World Cup shows kinship of the 2 LA communities bonding for South Korea-Mexico match. Okay, let me get into this. And we're going to get into this right after Pepsi Zero moment. If I don't have caffeine, I could fall asleep just sitting here. That's a problem. All right, then. World Cup shows kinship of 2 LA communities bonding for South Korea-Mexico match. The feel-good videos of South Korean and Mexican soccer fans dancing and celebrating together in the opening days of the World Cup may have been surprising in many parts of the world, but for the people of Los Angeles, it was nothing new. The Mexican and Korean communities are an integral part of the city's vibrant multicultural identity, and their mutual admiration was on display at a watch party in the Koreatown neighborhood on Thursday for the Mexico-South Korea match. Thousands of people in South Korea and Mexico jerseys packed South International Park. There's illustrations here. You should see all these people and how dressed up they are. It's pretty cool. Thousands of people in South Korea and Mexico jerseys packed South Seoul International Park, jockeying for the best views of the big screen set up for the match. Many of them were waving South Korean flags while wearing Mexico jerseys. Some South Korea fans had draped themselves in flags of both countries. Otila Barajas, 28, sought shade under a tree for a couple of hours before kickoff. She was wearing a special top that she made herself. One half was a red South Korean jersey, the other was the green of Mexico. Mrs. Barajas, who is a Mexican-American, wore green, white, and red eyeshadow to represent Mexico, but was torn about cheering for one team over the other. I hope they will tie this game, she said. Other fans are more competitive. Austin Huang, 18, was rooting for a South Korean victory, but was glad to see the melding of red and green in Koreatown. It's quite similar, the vibes that are in Mexico and the vibes that are here, Mr. Huang said, referencing to the photos and videos of Mexicans and South Koreans partying together in Mexico. The two fan bases have been seen drinking together, dancing, and in some cases smooching. The seeds of soccer love affair were planted during the 2018 World Cup when South Korea beat Germany and helped Mexico advance to the knockout stage. Videos of Mexico fans thanking South Korean fans after the match went viral. In Mexico, they're welcoming the Koreans with open arms. I feel like all Koreans really appreciate that, Mr. Huang said. Us here, we're in Koreatown, and we can welcome each other. I feel like LA is a shared space between the both of us. For those who grew up in Los Angeles, the kinship on display on Thursday made sense. Koreatown is home to many people of both Mexican and Korean descent, and considered by many to be one of the few places in the U.S. where a person can dine on bulgogi tacos or find a taco truck parked in front of a Korean barbecue restaurant. Joanne Kim, 28, was visiting from New York but grew up in L.A. She wore red with her two friends as they pitched out a blanket on the grass to root for South Korea. I feel like the Korean-American community and the Mexican-American community have always been pretty tight, said Ms. Kim. Seeing the camaraderie in Mexico and Koreans in Mexico, but also seeing the camaraderie in L.A. right now, it's just such an obvious thing for me. So here's all these illustrations again. It looks like thousands of people, all dressed, all from this World Cup. That's very nice. It's funny I don't see Rocky there. No Rocky. Where's he? Let's see here. When is summer really going to begin? We've had some nice warm temperatures, but come on. It seems to be going back to wind. We're probably getting some leftover stuff from those big storms people are getting, so I guess we're thankful we're not getting that. Tornadoes and, all that wind and rain. Yep. Here's a weird story. After her Knicks won, an officer shot her dog, and there is a picture of the dog. An LAPD officer killed Marie Marcel's dog. The dog's name was Jameson. He had his jersey on, his little T-shirt. It says, while responding to a false report. Oh, though, this is horrible. Marie Marcel is such a passionate New York Knicks fan. She rattles off the names of 1990s players as if she were watching them just yesterday at the Madison Square Garden. John Starks, oh my gosh, don't even get me started, she said. I love the 90s. I loved it. They should have won. 94, 99, Latrell, Ewing, Starks, Charles Oakley. But Miss Marcel, 44, is so anxiety racked that she can't even watch big games. As the Knicks played on Saturday night with the first championship of her lifetime won away, she found ways to distract herself at home in Los Angeles, a long way from where she grew up in Rockland County, New York. She cleaned her apartment. She watched a Lifetime movie. She took Jameson, her 2-year-old golden Saint Berdoodle. What's with these dogs, people? We had Saint Bernards. We had poodles. You know, what is now $5,000 used to be a mutt 20 years ago. If you had a mixed breeds, that wasn't purebred. That was $200 at SPCA. But I'm just saying. And this little dog, which he looked really cool, was wearing his blue and orange Knicks shirt for a walk. Occasionally, she checked the score online. Her son texted updates. Then her mother called from New York to start spreading the news. Game over, Knicks win. Oh my gosh, she screamed. I can't believe this. Oh my God, I can't believe this. The Knicks won. Little did she know her moment of elation would be fleeting, and that what would transpire would set off an inspirational outcry, questions over police use of force, and an investigation. Jameson would be dead within an hour after winning. Oh, my Lord. The neighbor had reported a possible domestic disturbance, apparently mistaking Miss Maricel's joyous outburst as cry for help. 2 officers responded. As Miss Maricel tried to slide her past her door to speak with them in the outdoor hallway, Jameson slipped out. Suddenly, she heard 2 gunshots and saw an officer pointing his gun at Jameson. A shell casing hit her foot, and the smell of gunpowder filled the air. Jameson on the ground was still alive, his Knicks shirt bloody. She ran over and draped herself over him, calling out his nickname, J-Mo. I watched him take his last breath, Miss Maricel said in an interview on Wednesday. The Los Angeles Police Department issued a release. The officers had responded to a radio call for a screaming woman as they spoke with Miss Maricel. Jameson was barking, the police said, and officers asked her to secure her dog. Then, according to the department, the dog charged at one of the officers. At the apartment complex in Canoga Park, a suburban neighborhood, the spot where Jameson died was adorned on Wednesday with flowers, bouquets, stuffed animals, and candles. Sophia Wodelwish, who lives downstairs, said Jameson was so kind and so friendly that he comforted her own dog, a Shih Tzu named Cookie. Oh, poor Cookie, when her other dog died last year. Another neighbor left a message for Miss Maricel. Your pain is ours, too. The circle of compassion widened after a video taken by a neighbor of Miss Maricel's on the ground leaning over Jameson's body began circulating on social media. She and her family heard from people across the country from all over the world. Soon, the GoFundMe campaign had raised more than $170,000. Oh, my Lord. Miss Maricel is a nurse who's studying for a master's degree in public health. Grew up in a family of diehard Knicks fans. Her brother was 6'8", played basketball professionally in Malta and Turkey, and works in security for the Knicks. She said some of the GoFundMe money will pay for cremating Jameson's remains. Once the police return his body to them, she may use some of the money to pay for a lawyer, and she hopes to set up a nonprofit in James's name to help rescue dogs. The shooting has generated outrage online and around Los Angeles. Mayor Karen Bass promised a thorough and transparent investigation. Ms. Bass' opponent in the Maria election, Nithra Remain, said online that she was horrified by the killing. Chief Jim McDonald of the LAPD appeared on KFI, a local radio station, said a loss of a pet is something deeply personal. He promised a full investigation. The LAPD issued a use of force policy for hostile dog encounters in 23. It lists 7 tactics and tools officers can use before firing their weapon: voice commands, chemical spray, baton, fire extinguisher, taser, a beanbag shotgun, and kicking in. I don't think any of these things were done. Ms. Marcel said the 2 detectives were apologetic when they interviewed her, but she does not understand why the officers had to resort to deadly force. She and her son Jeremiah Garcia had waited their whole lives to see the Knicks win a championship. When the moment finally came, they had a half hour to experience the pure elation, the time between the buzzer sounding in San Antonio and the cops knocking on the door. Now she says she can't enjoy the title without thinking about Jameson's death. If you've seen this dog, he looks like a live stuffed animal, and they should have done everything they could before shooting him. This is not a dog you're shooting if you look at this dog. That's all I'm saying. He looked like a furry, happy-go-lucky dog. And even if he was barking or all crazy because, these strangers are at the door, like it said, there's all kinds of things. Sprays, Wow. So, Central Ride, they do those carriage rides. One tipped over. And oddly enough, in the illustration, there's another one going by, and the people are looking at the tipped over wagon, probably thinking, okay, we can stop here. We'll stop right here. You can let us out. Because this thing is mutilated. How does that happen on a carriage ride in Central Park? There's an illustration. Romansh Mahan, an 18-year-old tourist from India, died of blunt force trauma on a carriage ride in the Central Park. Really? So now they're halting these rides. I don't, at least until they figure out what happened, I'm sure. I mean, come on, people, get it together. I'm sure the driver was on his phone. All right, let's look at something else here. Okay. They're having what they're calling an estate sale at LaGuardia for the 22 flights that Spirit had. Normally you go to an estate sale and everyone has like a pencil sharpener on the wall in the basement. One of those old schools, turn it, you know what I'm talking about? But you go to an airport, you could actually bid for 22 flights from Spirit. That's great. Big article about that. 22 flights. It says here, two low-budget horror films shake summer box office. Two of the season's biggest box office hits, Backrooms and Obsession, have a lot in common. Both are horror films with original scripts made by directors in their 20s who came from the world of YouTube and TikTok. And together they've arguably redefined what a summer blockbuster can be. Star Wars The Mandalorian and Grogu was the #1 movie when it opened on the weekend of May 22nd. But the next weekend, it fell behind two much smaller movies. Obsession, directed by 26-year-old Curry Barker, and Backrooms, directed by 20-year-old Kane Parsons, which debuted at the top of the box office. Masters of the Universe, Mattel's attempt to build on success of Barbie, opened at number 2 behind the Scary Movie reboot on the weekend of June 5, and dropped behind Scary Movie Obsession and Backrooms in the second weekend. Obsession, which was made on a budget of $750,000 and has now been a top 5 movie in the domestic box office for 5 weekends in a row, has achieved an increasingly rare feat. It sold more tickets in the second weekend than its first, and sold even more tickets in its third. Wow. Movies typically sell more tickets in their opening weekend than the ones that follow, and the post drop-off has grown steeper in recent decades. A New York Times analyst using data from Box Office Mojo found that the median change in sales between films' opening and second weekend went from a drop of 28% in the 90s to about 54% in the 2020s. Backrooms, which was made on a budget of $10 million and has now been a top 5 movie for 3 weekends in a row, became the highest growing movie ever as a distributor A24 within its first week. The first week of ticket sales for Backrooms was on par with some of the biggest releases of the year, including Project, Hail Mary, and Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic. If Backrooms and Obsessions are a sign of things to come, major franchise films may continue to find themselves up against competition from a generation of filmmakers who bring new ideas to the screen and their social media followers to theaters. Very, very smart. Because you got these social media kids on there. Everyone knows about them. All these kids know about them. And, of course, they're going to advertise their movie to death on social media. And kids are going to choose that. Whoever they're flipping their screen left and right, whoever they know and whatever reason, and now it's all social media, them are the movies they're going to go to. Of course. Huh. Delays, security searches, and a rushed exit. Iran's frustrating debut. So Iran is in the World Cup. And, there are some countries that have some obvious tensions with us that are in the World Cup, and they are here. So that could make things very different in terms of security. The whole World Cup, I mean, you got games, Toronto, United States, maybe Mexico, all over the place. It's insane. So you really have to watch, but I can see this one with Iran. Just the security situation. Hopefully all the games go good, and it is an awesome competition because you have countries, even if you're having problems in other ways with certain countries, in terms of sport, at the World Cup, all these countries and fans come together and make it a great event. So hopefully all this goes off without a hitch. And my kids are destined that United States will be playing England for the World Cup championship. Because of 250 years and the whole thing, and they think that United States and England will be playing each other for the World Cup championship, and I think that's a great thought and hope. But when you have Messi and players like that, it makes it very difficult to beat teams like that. So we'll see what happens. That's why they play the games, right? That's why they play them. Because anything can happen at any time. Mm-mm-mm, mm-mm. Okay. What do we have in the arts? I wonder what we're cooking later. We're getting there. Oh boy. They got to get rid of these Love Island shows and stuff like this, you know? There's a headline here. Love Island USA is giving fans the ick. Yeah. Come on. You don't want your kids watching this stuff. Here's one. John Lowe says he and others were the targets of racist and sexist comments. So, I mean, this show we're going to talk about is so old. We're talking about Matlock. Remember with Andy from Mayberry? Matlock? Former Matlock writer sues CBS. Come on. What's all this stuff about here? John Lowe says he and others were the targets of racist and sexist comments. A former writer on the CBS show Matlock sued the network on Wednesday, claiming that repeated racist and sexual comments by some of the show's leadership created a hostile work environment for him and other black members of the cast and crew. And of course, I may be joking, but this is from, the new Matlock with Kathy Bates and Jason Ritter, John Ritter's son, and Sky Marshall. The writer, John Lowe, filed a lawsuit in California Superior Court seeking compensatory and punitive damages along with lost wages. The suit also names the Matlock producer and showrunner Jenny Snyder Ehrman and executive producers Nikki Renna and Jeffrey Lieber as defendants. A spokeswoman for CBS Studios said in a statement that the network took all work complaints seriously. In this instance, a thorough investigation was completed, and we were unable to find support for his allegations, said of Mr. Lowe. We look forward to vigorously defending this lawsuit. Ron Zambrano, a lawyer for Mr. Lowe, said in a statement that CBS should be ashamed for having allowed the blatant racism and harassment his client experienced while working on the show. Mr. Lowe was subject to degrading and unlawful conduct, he said. Mr. Lowe was hired to work on Matlock, the rebooted series starring Kathy Bates, in October 23. According to the lawsuit, at some point after that, the suit says Miss Ehrman and Mr. Lieber commented on how tightly Mr. Lowe's clothes fit and announced that his shoe size meant he was well endowed down there. All right, then. Miss Ehrman and Mr. Lieber's comment invoked a racist stereotyping that black men have larger genitalia, the lawsuit says, adding that Mr. Lowe understood the comment as demeaning reference to his race. The complaint also said that Miss Ehrman, Miss Renna, and Mr. Lieber had on multiple occasions interrogated Mr. Lowe about his dating life, questioning his sexuality, and at one point asked him how he handled a man's genitalias. Oh my God, he's just trying to write a show. Miss Renna, according to the lawsuit, also made a racially and sexually derogatory comment about Emmy Lackwalker, a black cast member of the show, saying that he could barely read and that he was saved by the size of his penis. Oh, good Lord, Vinton. The lawsuit goes on to describe other episodes involving Miss Ehrman's, including a late-night telephone call to Mr. Lowe in which she told him that she was in bed wearing only her underwear, and another time when Mr. Lowe was coerced to care for her dog, which she refused to keep because her children did not like its black color. Oh, good Lord. Plaintiff reasonably perceived this conduct as racially motivated harassment and an exercise of supervisory power designed to burden him, the lawsuit said. Ms. Ehrman also called Juneteenth the annual commemoration of the end of slavery in the United States, Coon teeth. Oh, boy. It's not right, people. The lawsuit says, adding that the comment had shocked Mr. Lowe and colleagues within the earshot. This is just to make a show here. Like, none of this should be happening, right? It's really not right. Mr. Lowe's employment ended last July, excuse me, about 2 weeks after Miss Ehrman's Juneteenth comment. The complaint says, adding that there had not been a performance-based or creative justification for his termination. Since Mr. Lowe's termination, he has suffered loss of income, emotional distress, humiliation, and medical expenses for mental health treatment, his lawyer said. Mr. Lowe deserved to be treated with dignity and respect, as everyone should expect in a workplace, not subject to these outrageous and illegal racial slurs and sexual harassment without any connection to his work on the show. Mr. Zambrano, the lawyer for Mr. Lowe, said in a statement, Matlock, a remake of the 80s and 90s starring Andy Griffith, gotta nip him in the butt, Andy, was the fourth most watched network show last season, averaging 11.5 million viewers, wow, on CBS and Paramount. Last year, an actor on the show, David Del Rio, left shortly before the premiere of its second season. After CBS conducted an investigation, the person with knowledge of the matter told the New York Times the person declined to disclose the focus of the investigation. Mr. Del Rio's character was written out of the series. Wow. That was bad. I'm thinking he's I think he's going to win that. I think the show Matlock, they're going to need Matlock. They're going to need more than Matlock. I have to say. Because that was very nasty and wrong. Can't people just get along? You're working, you're trying to write a show, you have a hit show, and you're telling the guy about his shoes and everything that goes with it. What does this say? New Orleans rapper sentenced to 20 years. Mystikal, a Grammy nominee, pleaded guilty to third-degree rape. Why, Mystikal? The Grammy-nominated New Orleans rapper Mystikal has been sentenced to 20 years in prison for third-degree rape. The rapper, 55. You know what? I'm sorry. Why don't you hit your 50s? I don't know. I don't know if you're a rapper anymore. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not sure. The rapper, 55, whose legal name is Michael Lawrence Tyler, pleaded guilty to the charge in March. He was arrested in July 22, a day after a woman told the police that she had been beaten, sexually assaulted, and held against her will at Mr. Tyler's home in Prairieville, Louisiana. Mr. Tyler pleaded not guilty to charges, including first-degree rape, false imprisonment, and battery. He later reached an agreement to reduce the charges in exchange for a guilty plea. During a hearing in Louisiana's 23rd Judicial District Court on Tuesday, Judge Stephen Turow gave Mr. Tyler the maximum sentence allowed under the agreement. The victim in this case, who spoke at the hearing according to local ABC's affiliate WBRZ, requested that Mr. Tyler be punished to the full extent of the law. A lawyer for Mr. Tyler did not immediately reply to a request for comment. And there is a picture of him sitting here. An Army veteran, Mr. Tyler rose to prominence in the late 90s as a member of the pioneering Southern rap label, Number One Limit Records. He was the breakout performer on Silk, the Shockers' hit 1998 single, It Ain't My Fault, which introduced mainstream audience to Mr. Tyler's distinctive, off-kilter vocal patterns and rapid staccato phrasing. Well, he must have known he was going to do something. His first hit, It Ain't My Fault. Mr. Tyler reached the height of his commercial success with his fourth album, Let's Get Ready, which debuted at number one on the Billboard 200 in October 2000. It featured the sonically bracing singles, oh boy, Shake Ya, and I Ain't Saying the Rest, and and Danger, both produced by Neptunes. His subsequent album Tarantula was nominated in 2003 for the Grammy Awards for Best Rap Album and Best Male Rap Solo Performance. Around that time, Mr. Tyler faced a series of criminal convictions. He pleaded guilty to sexual assault in 2003, in which he served 6 years in prison. In 2006, he was found guilty of tax evasion. In 2012, Mr. Tyler spent 3 months in jail for probation violation stemming from a domestic abuse charge. Yeah, I don't see why he was out walking around and able to do this to this poor woman. He had every right to keep walking around. After his arrest in 2022, prosecutors accused Mr. Tyler of terrorizing a woman who he said had stolen $100 from him. The woman said that he had punched her, ripped her braids out of her hair, taken her phone and keys to prevent her from leaving, and sexually assaulted her. Days before his sentencing, a lawyer representing Mr. Tyler requested that his guilty plea be withdrawn, arguing that Mr. Tyler had not adequate time to consider the consequences before entering it. Judge Turo denied that request. Well, this guy belonged in jail, not in front of a microphone, not making a lot of money, which he didn't pay his taxes for anyway. So, there's that. What's this here? Netflix ends popular sci-fi drama The Burrows has been canceled after 1 season. Oh, poor Burrows. Netflix has canceled The Burrows, a Duffer Brothers produced sci-fi drama about a mysterious retirement community after 1 season. The move further severs its ties with the brothers, creators of Stranger Things, after the blockbuster series ended in December. The Burrows featured a star-studded cast with Alfred Molina, Gina Davis, Alfred Woodward, Dennis O'Hare, Clark Peters, and Bill Pullman, and was well reviewed by critics. It followed a recent widower, Molina, who teams up with fellow retirees to thwart a supernatural threat behind their picturesque residence. All right. In a review in the New York Times, Mike Hale said, the series, nicknamed Old Stranger Things by fans, effectively exploits the comic and sentimental possibilities of putting older baby boomers into action and jeopardy. A representative for Netflix did not immediately respond to requests for a comment. The end of the series at Netflix leaves just one title at the streamer produced by the Duffers, the animated spin-off Stranger Things, Tales from 85. The twin brothers, Matt and Ross, announced a deal in August to develop a new series and films at Paramount in a coup by the studio and its new owner, David Ellison. Stranger Things, which ran for 5 seasons beginning in 2016, is Netflix's most watched series of all time, with more than 1.2 billion cumulative views as of December. Wow. In addition to the animated offshoot, the brothers also produced a limited horror series, Something Very Bad Is Going to Happen, which ran for 1 season in March. On Monday, Paramount announced that its first Duffer Brothers project, a yet unified feature film, would be released November 3rd of 2028. There's a little illustration of Dennis O'Hare and Gina Davis, part of the star-studded cast of The Burrows. All right. What do we have here? Just reading the paper. Reading the paper. There's a section here. There's always, next to the dishes, a huge section on like where you can go. And this one is Athens. And it looks really cool. Greece. I'm pretty sure Rocky might be up there. He's got a soccer tour going on. That's where my daughter, check this out. My daughter actually got engaged in Greece. What if you take a girl to Greece, right? Just saying. All that money, all that expense. Could you imagine getting a no? Where do you go from there? You know, if you take her to a park or something, you get a no, you could pretty much get in your car and just I'll see you later. Not when you're in Greece. Where do you go? That makes for a very awkward flight home, don't it? And what if he did it on like day one of a 5-day trip? I mean, that's long. You got to finish the trip, and then you have to fly all the way home to Buffalo or wherever. Do you have any idea how long that is? That's crazy time. Man, I'm glad she said yes for my son-in-law's sake, right? All right. Will you marry me? Oh, no. All right. Let's go get something to eat. What do we have here? Wow. I don't know where they get these dishes from. Here's cumin lime shrimp with ginger. This recipe you want in your repertoire is from Colo Henry, and it's a versatile winner. It works well over rice or other grains, salad greens, and noodles, or wrap it in a tortilla for shrimp tacos. What do we need? This is going to take you only 15 minutes. Come on, people. You have 15 minutes. It's the weekend. Make it happen. All right? You're going to get 4 servings out of it. It doesn't look bad in the pan. It looks kind of nice, buttery, whatever. What are we going to need here? Get your pens and paper and everything ready to roll. You're going to need 1.5 pounds of shrimp, peeled and deveined. Peeled and deveined. 16 to 20 shrimp. 1 teaspoon ground cumin kosher salt. 3 tablespoons of olive oil. 1.5 teaspoons grated ginger. 1 teaspoon grated garlic. Pinch of red pepper flakes. Write this down. It's optional. 1/4 cup of lime juice, 1 teaspoon lime zest, 3 tablespoons of roughly chopped cilantro, and flaky salt. Again, optional. And here's what we're going to do. That's all you needed. Those little things we just wrote down, that's all you needed. Let's not go crazy, people. This is easy. So what are we going to do? Number 1, in a large bowl, toss together the shrimp with the cumin until well coated. Season with kosher salt and, guess what? Toss it again. Heat the olive oil in a 12-inch skillet over medium heat. And add half the shrimp to the pan in one layer and cook undisturbed. It says cook them undisturbed, all right? When you put them in, don't talk to them. Don't touch them. Leave them alone. They need a nap in the hot oil. Undisturbed. All right? They don't want to have a conversation. They're in a warm environment. Okay? Undisturbed until they just start turning pink. About 1 minute. Flip and cook for about 1 minute more. Then remove from the pan and set aside. All right? Again, leave them alone. They may not be fully cooked at this time, and that's okay. Repeat with remaining shrimp and leave in the pan. Add the reversed shrimp back to the pan with any juices that have accumulated. This is number 3. Stir in the ginger, garlic, and red pepper flakes, if using, and cook about 30 seconds, stirring to make sure the garlic doesn't burn. Add the lime juice to the pan and scrape up any brown bits that have formed at the bottom of the pan. Cook until the mixture is reduced by half, about 1 minute more. Stir in the lime zest and scatter with cilantro. Everybody say that. Cilantro. Ain't that a fun one? Scatter with cilantro, season with flaky salt, again, if desired. And this dish does look kind of good. If you like shrimp, this looks like a good dish. Cumin lime shrimp with ginger. And, say it one more time. Come on, people, wake up. Cilantro. Cilantro. All right. What's next? Oh, boy. Halami Slovaki bowl? I don't know. I don't even know if I'm saying this right. First of all, if I want a Slovaki bowl, I'm going down to the Greek diner like I did yesterday, having some chicken savak. I got some in the fridge upstairs left over because they give you a salad the size of like Madison Square Garden. And I have some chicken and stuff in there. I don't know if I want a halloumi savaki bowl. Hey, I'm not knocking it. It looks different. It's got some greens, some beans, things in here, a little egg, some chicken, and it's probably wonderful. It's just not something I'm used to. That doesn't mean it's bad. Nope, it's probably delicious. I'm just a creature of habit. There's also creamy lemon asparagus gnocchi. That looks kind of good, actually. Creamy lemon asparagus gnocchi. That looks pretty good. There's a nice illustration. And I have to say, I would probably want to try this. Kayla Huang takes the sunshine of pasta. Did you know pasta had sunshine? It does. Kayla Huang takes the beautiful sunshine of pasta, al limon, and brings it to a bowl of crisp asparagus and chewy gnocchi. This is a new recipe, and it's racking up raves in the comments. That looks like a great dish. Let me tell you. Quick harissa apricot chicken. This harissa is not slow. This harissa is quick. So if you're going to cook it, you better grab it and keep hold of it. Because if not, you're not going to have it to cook with the apricot chicken. There's a little illustration, and that looks different. Looks beautiful. How about soy butter fish with peas? Does anybody out there eat the peas? Anybody out there, pea fans? I wish I can say, call me, let's go over the peas. You know, they're not bad in certain things, like arancini, the Italian rice ball, meatball. You deep fry them. You could add whatever you like. A lot of people add some peas. And it's one of those dishes where you don't taste just the peas. You know what I mean? It's a big mixture. I'm not sure of peas by themselves. If you have peas on your plate, do you eat them one at a time with a fork, like just poke them? Or are you scooping them up like corn? Think about that for a minute. I'll give you a second. Did you think about it? I don't think I ever have peas on my plate like corn. Corn on my plate. Asparagus on my plate. I never say, you know what I need? I need a good hefty pile of peas next to my steak. I don't think so. I want some onion rings and some French fries and some pierogies and, some goodness. So, well, you make what you want for this weekend, okay? And if it's soy butter, fish, and peas, if it's cumin, lime, shrimp with ginger, or if it's halloumi savaki bowl, you make it your own and you enjoy it. I always enjoy speaking to you guys every week. And I do have to say that you have been listening to a reading of the New York Times for Saturday, June 20th, 26. For more information, call 716-821-5555. Can you give me that number again? Sure. It's 716-821-5555. Your reader has been Joe Gibbs. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, rest of your weekend. Have fun. Be safe. Until next time, I'm out.